Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the class and thank you for joining in so early. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurum militam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Śrī Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rūpa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swāmīniti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Tarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, the last time we had completed till text 3, right? And I'm going to move on to text 4 and 5, maybe. Oh, let me see. Yeah, let me move on to text 4. So, this text is a little interesting. And in this text, see, there were previously don'ts. Okay, do not do this. But now, in this particular text, he's going to tell what we have to do. And because of this, actually, our bhakti will, what do you say? Bhakti will increase. Increase. Dadati pratigrinati. You can repeat after me if you wish to.
Dadati pratigrinati.
Guhyam akhyati pritchati.
Guhyam akhyati pritchati.
Bhungate bhojayate chaiva.
Bhungate bhojayate chaiva.
Shadvidhyam priti lakshanam.
Shadvidam priti lakshanam.
Thank you very much. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad and offering prasad are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So in this verse, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī explains how to perform activities in association of other devotees. Can somebody read these 6 loving exchanges a little loudly, okay? Somebody read this 6 exchanges. Yes, you can.
From translation or purport, Mataji? Are you?
Prabhuji Mataji.
From where I have marked, please read from where I have marked. There are 6. Okay, let me read. There are 6 kind of activities.
I'll read, Mataji. There are 6 kinds of activities: giving charity to devotees, accepting from the devotees whatever they may offer in return, opening one's mind to the devotees, inquiring from them about the confidential service of the Lord, honoring prasada or spiritual food given by the devotees, and last, feeding the devotees with prasada.
So these
Should
are
I proceed, Mother?
Yes, Prabhuji. From here, proceed to the next
An
one.
experienced devotee explains, an inexperienced devotee learns from him. This is Guham Akhyati Prichat. When a devotee distributes prasada, remnants of food offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to maintain our spirit of devotional service, we must accept this prasada and the Lord's grace received through the pure devotees. We should also invite pure devotees to our home, offer them prasada, and be prepared to please them in all respects. This is called Bhunte Bhujyata Cheva. Should I proceed, Mataji?
No, Prabhuji. Let me just check on this. I'm just trying to see where are my notes on this. I'll share some notes also on the. Just remind me if I'm forgetting that there are some notes also, and those notes I will share with you all. Did I share the flowchart of NOI with you all?
Yes, Mataji, but unluckily I couldn't open it actually. It's not opening, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you'll have to download a PDF and then you can open it. There is an app called PDF, Adobe Acrobat.
No, it is there, Mataji. I have been using it for exam purpose. But somehow it's not. I'll try again, Mataji, and I don't succeed.
Just give me 1 minute, okay? I'll just check with Ara. Yeah, Prabhuji, it is in a PDF format only.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll have to download PDF only, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji.
It's in a PDF format only, Prabhuji. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, just not able to find where are my notes on my iPad. Give me a minute, okay? There's some challenge. sometimes Krishna bewilders you. That where did I save that file? Anyways, I'll just explain the way I have. Even in ordinary activities, these 6 types of dealings between two loving friends are absolutely necessary. For instance, when one businessman wishes to contact another businessman, he arranges a feast in a hotel and over the feast openly expresses what he wishes to do. He then inquires from his business friend how he should act, and sometimes presents are exchanged. Thus, whenever there is a dealing of priti or love in intimate dealings, these 6 activities are executed. In the previous verse, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī advised that one should renounce worldly association and keep the company of devotees. So, sangat tyagat sato vritte. So, you have to renounce the worldly association, that is the association of the materialist. But then if I am renouncing the association of materialists, then whom should I associate with? Then Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is saying that you have the company with the devotees, because man is a social animal, right? So he needs to, move around with people. He likes to be, socializing as such. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges between devotees. This society was started single-handedly. But because people are coming forward and dealing with the give and take policy, the society is now expanding all over the world. See, give and take policy. In the sense what? That you are trying to give something. And the best, when he says that giving gifts in charity. So the best charity somebody can give is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or the Harinam, via which that particular person can come close to Krishna. We are glad that people are donating very liberally to the development of the society activities, and people are also eagerly accepting whatever humble contribution we are giving them in the shape of books and magazines. Oh, giving books also. Magazines are dealing strictly with the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. We sometimes hold Hare Krishna festivals and invite life members and friends to participate in the feasting by accepting prasadam. So see, during Prabhupada's time, what they used to do is, how many ever life members they have made, they'll hold a 1 year, in a year, like once they will hold a very big festival. They'll invite all the, life members. They'll all invite all the well-wishers, the friends, the media people, the, big ministers, and all these people, they'll, call them, and they will actually, thank them for their generous donations and their generous cooperation toward the society. And then and at the last, they will have a very sumptuous feast for everybody. Although most of our members come from the higher rungs of society, they nonetheless come and take whatever little prasad we are able to offer them. Sometimes the members and supporters inquire very confidentially about the methods of performing devotional service, and we try to explain this. So see, when two people will meet, of course they'll have some confidential talks also. So it all starts from giving. When you start giving, then you come close to that particular person, right? And giving gifts in charity, giving the Harinam, giving books and magazines, giving prasadam, and then they will open up with us. So initially a lot is to be given, and then only they will be, reciprocating in return. In this way, our society is successfully spreading all around the world, and the intelligentsia of all countries is gradually appreciating our Krishna consciousness activities. The life of the Krishna conscious society is nourished by these 6 types of loving exchanges among the members. Therefore, people must be given the chance to associate with the devotees of ISKCON, because simply by reciprocating in the 6 ways mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness. Actually, this is the actually key, that why people should associate with the devotees. Why we want that somebody who is materialist should associate with the devotees of uh, ISKCON, because his dormant Krishna consciousness, everybody loves the Lord, everybody is a pure soul, but because of the influence of the three modes of material nature and his own karmas, he has forgotten Krishna. So now he's become bahirmukh. Usko unmukh karna hai, means turn towards Krishna karna hai. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that Sangat Sanjaya Te Kama. One's desires and ambition develop according to the company one keeps. See, if you associate with a drunkard, somebody is associating with a drunkard, he'll become a drunkard. But if somebody is associating with saints and devotees, eventually he'll also become a devotee. It is often said that a man is known by his company, and if an ordinary man associates with devotees, he will certainly develop his dormant Krishna consciousness. The understanding of Krishna consciousness is innate in every living entity, and it is already developed to some extent when the living entity takes a human body. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaya Udaya. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified, just give me 1 minute. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens. Since Krishna consciousness is inherent in every living entity, everyone should be given a chance to hear about Krishna. Simply by hearing and chanting Shravan Kirtanam, one's heart is directly purified and one's original Krishna consciousness is immediately awakened. Krishna consciousness is not artificially imposed upon the heart. It is already there. When one chants the holy name of the Supreme Lord, the heart is cleansed of all mundane contamination. In the first stanza of Sri Shishtashtaka, Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu says, Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandambudhi vardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatmasanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the Shri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. See, here he is telling about, when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord. Even Shishtashtaka, no? Shishtastakam goes from Shraddha to Prema. And in Prema, the last paragraph, it says that Ashlishava Padaram Pinashtuma Mad Darshana Marmahta Karotu Va Yatha Tatha Va Vidadhatu Lampato Mat Prananatastu Se Eva Napara. Which means what? In love, whatever the other person wants to do with you, he is free to do. I have completely surrendered to you. You can twist me, you can turn me, you can kick me, whatever you want to do. You want to accept me, you accept me. You want to reject me, you reject me. But I will still keep on loving you unconditionally. So this is actually love, that there are no conditions in love. Okay, if I do this, you give me that. It's not a barter exchange. And then that is not love, that is called lust then. And which is happening in this material world. For example, if a person does not satisfy another person's desires, then he is no good. And he will reject that person very easily. Especially in marriages, if you see, if you're not able to, satisfy my, desires, we separate out as such. So, but in love, everything is unconditional. And if you see, all the gopis and the manjaris, they have the highest standard of love for Krishna. For them, pleasing Krishna is only the aim of their life. They do not have any agenda in life other than pleasing Krishna. Sometimes in the material world over here, devotees will have some agenda. Okay, I'll become this, then I will, get so much of name and fame. I'll do this, and then, people will praise me. I will do this so that, people accept me. But with the gopis, even whether Krishna accepts them or does not accept them does not matter. Only his pleasure is their main concern, and the main goal of their life is, just to please him. Now see, when we please the Supreme Lord, we are pleasing all the other living entities. Just as when you water the root, what do? All the other branches and the trees and the twigs and the flowers and the fruits, they all are nourished, right? So similarly, when we love the Lord without any expectations, without any, of course, Krishna does say in the Bhagavad Gita that whatever you want, you come to me. Don't go anywhere, but you just come to me. But to come to that particular standard of 100% selflessness will require a lot of Shravanam and Kirtanam and the association of such devotees who are selfless. And that is why we say, no, sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha. So why sadhu sangha? Because these sadhus, they are completely selfless. They don't want anything for themselves. They want everything for the pleasure of Krishna. So when we associate with such sadhus, we also become one day selfless. Our all material contaminations will be wiped out with that sangha. And when we say na darshane pavitra kari ei tomara guna. So when we take darshan of these sadhus, when we take darshan of the Supreme Lord, of course in the form of his Archa Vigraha in the temple, and even in our own homes in the form of a photograph also, we become pure. Why? Because every time we associate with sadhus, they remind us of our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, we are so busy into our daily course and daily life that it is very difficult that sometimes we get carried away with the force of Maya. But what happens when Maya is pulling and a sadhu comes? The sadhu is again pulling us towards Krishna. There is a tug of war. But the more you associate with the sadhus, the more you associate with the Vani of the sadhus, the more you associate with the Vani of pure devotees, that much will go closer to Krishna. We might be sitting in any corner of the world, but Vani is such a powerful thing that even if you are sitting in Alaska also, where there's nothing, but you have Vani of the pure devotees, we can easily sail through. And that is why Vani is more important than Vapu. See, today also we are associating with Prabhupada, right? We are associating in the form of his books. Anybody is reading Śrīla Prabhupada's book, they are associating with Śrīla Prabhupada on a daily basis, associating with pure devotees. And Prabhupada also says, right, that these purports are not mere purports, they are my ecstasies. Which means what? The 11 types of ecstasies that a pure devotee has in the spiritual world, those ecstasies have been put down in a written form in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and all the other books that Prabhupada has written. So imagine when somebody in the spiritual world is loving Krishna, there is a great amount of reciprocation from Krishna also. And there is a tug of war between, Krishna and the devotees in the spiritual world. That if the gopis, have tried to please Krishna 10%, Krishna will please them, 10 times more, 100%. Then the gopis will, please Krishna 200 times. Then Krishna from there will please them 1,000 times. And there is a big, उसको हिंदी में कहते हैं होड़ा होड़ी चलती रहती है. There's a tug of war that who will please who more. But do we see that in this material world? We don't see that. And imagine that Srila Prabhupada has, and those same ecstasies, what the gopis are experiencing, that same ecstasy, Srila Prabhupada has put down in the books. And he says that these are my ecstasies. Golokera prema dhana hari nama sankirtana. That same ecstasy of Golok, he has brought it down in his purports. And when we try to read it again and again and again and again, we'll try to see, of course, I'm actually preaching this for myself also. It's not only for, everybody, whoever is listening over here. But when we read these books again and again, we will see that how to please the Supreme Lord in the footsteps of the Six Gosvāmīs. Because our NOI preface speaks a lot about, following in the footsteps of the Six Gosvāmīs, especially headed by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. And who can know the mind of the Supreme Lord better than Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī? We know the story, right? So, while we are reading these, we will develop our relationship. And see, developing means what? Slowly and gradually we develop. As and when we keep on reading, we know that what we have to accept and what we have to reject. What is favorable for my Krishna consciousness? What is unfavorable for my Krishna consciousness? And the more we accept what is favorable and keep on rejecting, see, these are actually to the degree we accept what is favorable and reject what is unfavorable, to that degree we go closer to Krishna. And every day is actually a day of building a relationship with Krishna, right from the time we wake up in the morning at 4 o'clock. Our whole day is actually dedicated to Krishna and serving Krishna. See, at one point of time, somewhere we will have to come to this, acceptance of the reality that my life is only to please Krishna. My manasa karmana vacha. So whatever I'm thinking through my mind, I want to please Krishna. Whatever karmas I will be doing, I want to please Krishna through those karmas. And whatever I will be speaking, I will speak only Krishna, about Krishna. I will not speak anything Prajalpa. Of course, ahead we will be seeing, what is Prajalpa and all in a bit detail. Prabhupada will be explaining. But somewhere, if we will not come to this conclusion, our going back home, back to Godhead will be a bit difficult. Of course, there's no loss or diminution in this process. In the next life, we will take birth in a Vaishnava family, we'll be able to continue. But why next lifetime? क्यों लेना ही है अगर नया birth? Kalyug is increasing so much. So much of, if you see now, so much of riots and so much. We are so lucky that we are staying in such places which are safe and secure, and there are no such riots and no such mass killing and genocides and all these things are happening. Krishna is protecting us so wonderfully that we are not staying in any of these places. We go to the north, there are landslides and there are, floods and everything. And on a daily basis, when I actually see, I have so much gratitude for the Supreme Lord and Krishna. You're so merciful that I'm not staying in such a place where, my Krishna consciousness will be hampered. Even if I am saved, okay, let's assume that in that flood I am saved. But then again, I have to start my life from zero. I have to start my life from scratch. Right from, earning something to, having something in, building a house, to getting, all the facilities in the house, luxuries in the house. And we are so lucky that, in such a place, we are not staying in such places at all, where, all these things are happening in the society. The Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Adhyatmik kleshas are there, right? So let's be, grateful to the Supreme Lord. Okay. Not only is the chanter of the Mahamantra purified, but the heart of anyone who happens to hear the transcendental vibration, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is also cleansed. So that is why we have Harinam Kirtans, right? We go for this Harinam Kirtan daily. There are devotees who go on a Harinam Kirtan daily. They sing and they chant and they distribute books. Even the souls embodied in lower species, insects, trees, and other species of life also become purified and prepared to become fully Krishna conscious simply by hearing the transcendental vibration. Now, somebody might wonder that, okay, lower animals, we can understand an animal can hear, insect can, still, the vibration is there, it can still hear, through his subtle body. And trees, what about trees? Trees have a very low level of consciousness. And even if somebody has a very low level of consciousness, still that tree can, upgrade himself in the next birth. Right from becoming a tree. See, the level, how that level goes is that from the tree species, you move to an insect species. From an insect species, you move to an animal species. And then from an animal to a human body, right? And even within the human body also, again, there are gradations. That which family you will be born in. So that is why this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we make people chant on a daily basis, right? In a temple, we have one very nice special corner that we invite people, we make them chant, and we help them to revive their lost relationship with Krishna. And there are so many devotees, just when they're chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they feel so nice and so positive that they actually take up to Krishna consciousness very quickly and nicely. So what the devotees are doing, they are actually spreading the message of the Lord, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, na, Janma sarthak kari kara para upakara. Right? So when you make people chant, we are getting every soul towards Krishna. And that is actually, when we preach, the Lord is very much pleased with us. So this was explained by Haridas Thakur when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from him how living entities lower than human beings can be delivered from material. Haridas Thakur said that the chanting of the holy name is so powerful that even if one chants in the remotest part of the jungle, the trees and animals will advance in Krishna consciousness simply by hearing the vibration. This was actually proved by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself when he passed through the forest of the Jharkhand. At the time, the tigers, snakes, deers, and all other animals abandoned their natural animosity and began chanting and dancing in Sankirtan. Of course, we cannot imitate the activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because tomorrow somebody will say, okay, let me also go into the jungles and make the tigers and elephants and the jackals and the lions dance with each other. First, we'll only become prey to their this. So that's why, Srila Prabhupada is actually just, warning us that we cannot imitate, but we should follow in the footsteps. See, what is the difference between imitation and following? Imitation means you try to follow without that adhikara, right? Because see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the bhava of Rādhārāṇī. So nothing will happen to him, and still he has the power because he is the seed giving father of all those animals in the jungle. And he is the Paramatma also sitting. So the Paramatma can do anything, he can make anybody dance, right? But we don't have that power. If we start imitating, then we'll be in trouble. But to follow in the footsteps means what? That whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed us, we should try to follow them into the capacity or into the boundary line of whatever he has said. Right? So that's how when we say following in the footsteps means whatever principles our acharyas or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, we follow on the footsteps of those principles. And these principles are called siddhantas. कुछ सिद्धांतों पे हमारी life टिकी हुई है, right? So like for example, one siddhanta is that I will not do gambling at all, or I will not take intoxication. These are some siddhantas, these are some principles that we live by. Sometimes he's a man of principles. There are some siddhantas he will not compromise on at all. He will not do any cheating. He will not cheat also anybody. He'll be very honest with everybody. Like we say, no, he's a man of principles, like that. So that's how over here Srila Prabhupada is saying that we are not powerful enough to enchant the lower animals such as tigers, snakes, cats and dogs or entice them to dance. But by chanting the holy name of the Lord, we can actually convert many people throughout the world to Krishna consciousness. Contributing or distributing the holy name of the Lord is a sublime example of contributing or giving charity. Dadati pratigranati. See, contributing or distributing means what? What is Prabhupada telling? Contributing means what? That when the Harinam Kirtan is going on, we also chant the holy names. And that's how we actually give an impact to that whole Sankirtan movement. And distributing means what? That we tell others. तो पहले हम भी करते हैं, है ना? We also chant, and that's how we are contributing. And then we distribute the holy name. So that's how it is actually giving in charity, Dadhati principle. By some token, one must also follow the Pratigranati principle and be willing and ready to receive the transcendental gifts. So whatever I have received, then how will I reciprocate? From the Guru, I have received the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, right? By the mercy of my spiritual master, I have received the holy name. Now what I must do? I must give something back in return to him also, na? So what am I giving back in return? Whatever orders he has told me, I will obey him, right? So he has told me during initiation that you preach and distribute books. So then the Pratigranati principle is that we will also give it to others. And when we are giving this Harinam to others, we are actually giving back something what we have received to the spiritual master. We are grateful to our spiritual masters for whatever they have given. Now, how will we express that gratitude? So that expression of the gratitude is by following the instructions of the spiritual master, and we'll pass down it to somebody else. Now, whoever is received from us, he'll pass it down to somebody else. It's like a chain. That, oh, I'm very, grateful to Krishna Rupa Mataji. She actually has helped me to, advance in spiritual life. What should I do, Mataji? I'll say, okay, you distribute it to, And spiritual master also is doing the same thing. So there's a chain. And this chain has come from where? It has come from Krishna. It has come from Radharani. Because who can be more compassionate than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has come in the form of Krishna himself and in the bhav of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. See, Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī's, the best seva, if you ask, that Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, what is your best seva? What you would like us to do? The best thing that you would like to do in our lives. You please tell us, you please guide us. And all our acharyas are actually, serving Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. So the best service, what Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī would like us to do is distribute books. Because that is the compassion she carries for the living entities. And through that compassion, the living entities are getting reconnected to Krishna again. So the most favorite activity of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is book distribution. See, I am not telling this because even I do book distribution. But recently, we had His Grace Madhusundar Prabhu. I will share with you that small clip that I have of Madhusundar Prabhu. Over there, he is saying that Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī's favorite, activity is book distribution. Now, somebody might wonder, Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is in the spiritual world and there is no book distribution in the spiritual world. Then how come, that is her favorite activity or that favorite seva of this? So see, Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī has a lot of compassion in her heart. And because she has that lot of compassion, she wants, and Krishna यहाँ पे दुखी है. Krishna क्यों दुखी है? Why Krishna is sad? Because all his, part and parcels or all the jivatmas are separated from him. And they have actually rebelled against him and they are separate. So Krishna is very sad. Now to make Krishna happy, then what to do? Then to distribute that knowledge. To distribute that, okay, you have a connection with Krishna, come near to Krishna, come close to Krishna. And devotees go around, distributing books to come closer to Krishna. Now when Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī sees this, that, oh, this Jivatma is trying to get, the other Jivatmas, closer to my Krishna, then she feels very happy. She blesses those devotees who are doing book distribution. And that is why that same compassion of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, who carried forward our acharyas, the six Gosvāmīs also carried that same compassion. That is why they wrote these books. Because they knew that Kalyug mein Manda Sumanda Mati Bhagyo, people will not remember. Previously, people used to remember, they were Shruti Dhar. Ek baar jo Guru ne bol diya, it's exactly there into their memory chip. And recall and retention was very, very powerful in those times. Whatever the Guru said in 1 hour, that disciple will be able to again repeat the same words. Not one and the or two or for here and there. Same thing they were able to repeat. So that same compassion of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, the acharyas, the six Gosvāmīs, the, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and our present acharyas are carrying that same mood and mission. Same mood and mission they are carrying. Because that mood and mission is coming from Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. And that is how, this book distribution, why is it expanding? Imagine no other publication, no other trust is able to distribute books in such a large quantity in any other languages. We have, some 80 different languages all around the world, right? And in India only we have 20 to 23 languages. And the whole movement spread only through book distribution. Why? See, sometimes somebody might think in the present tense actually. That, of course, this is not a book distribution seminar that I'm giving, but I'm just generally telling the compassion that if somebody might think that how this movement is spreading, somebody might think, "Arey Baba, book distribution karne se kya itna fayda hone wala hai?" Like that person might read, not read. What do we know? And why should we just, take so much of, pain and efforts to, go on street distribution? See, if the present acharyas during Prabhupada time, present acharyas means all our sannyasis or the Prabhupada disciples that are there. If they would not have done book distribution, I and you would not be sitting, over here. This is for sure. Because so much of Krishna consciousness has been spread in so many cities all around the world that somebody right now is sitting in US and, hearing this class, right? There are a couple of devotees who have, moved to US and they're hearing this class. How was it possible? And it's if you see, none of you know me personally, except for Shubhangi Mataji and Sucharita Mataji. At least before you all joined, you all did not know me at all, right? But there is one thing common in all of us, that we all want to try to please the Lord. We all are connected through Srila Prabhupada's books. Had I not been teaching these books, you also would not be online, right? We are there connected through Prabhupada only, through the Supreme Lord, through Paramatma. We are connected through these books only. So, these books are very potent. And that is why Prabhupada said that this is Brihad Mridanga. The normal Mridanga, ki awaz will reach maybe like, half a kilometer dur tak, maximum, you can say. But the Brihad Mridanga, the voice of the Brihad Mridanga will reach to different countries also, far and wide. That is why he called the books as Brihad Mridanga. And Prabhupada used to like the voice of the printing press. He was very happy when, the books were khata, khat, those printing that is happening. He used to think that there is kirtan going on in the printing press. That happy he was when the books were printed, where the printing press mein books were printed. So that's how, because of book distribution only, this particular society expanded. Prabhupada, during his time, he built how many temples? 108 temples. And now how many temples do we have all around the world? 800 temples. Somebody might wonder that how is it possible that 108 temples, say we have 800 temples all around the world. And how is it possible? This is possible only to the book distribution. If somebody is buying a book in Australia, he becomes a devotee in UK. If somebody is buying a book in India, he becomes a devotee in US. How powerful these books are. Because these books are not ordinary books. These books are divine transcendental books. And that is why, even simply by merely touching the book, it has a very transcendental effect. Somebody does not buy that book. Like, in a book distribution stories, you must have heard, that, somebody tried to distribute a book, but that person did not, buy. He was very adamant. Then another person tried to give him the book. He did not buy. Third person, fourth person. The 50th person, and a very, lean, thin, lukda pukda person, he just comes and says, that please buy a book. And that person very easily buys that book. Now, that effort that those all, 49 devotees have done, the marketing strategy is what? Na? Hit and hammer, hit and hammer, hit and... You again and again show that product. For example, koi Lux ka ad hai, some soap ka ad hai. Again and again show that. One day you will end up buying that Lux soap. Or nowadays, they have, these ads of, whenever you're seeing these YouTube lectures and all, na, every time there's one typical ad which comes and I get so irritated with that ad. They have these ad of cars, Skoda car. And every time, they will flash that. Now, somebody who might think, who has bichara apna Maruti or anything, he'll say, "Arey Skoda car lena chahiye." That person lands up in buying. And nowadays, so, GST reforms have come. So these cars and all have become so less what you say, expensive. Now anybody can go and buy a car on EMI basis. He generally saves from 60,000 to 1 lakh rupees at least on different cars. So the point is, where was I? I lost. Yeah, buy a book. I was over there. So now what happens is that devotees are also doing same. No, that maybe, from 3-4 years, so many devotees tried. But one very thin, lean person goes and tells him, like, it's exactly like, there's a big wall and, some very big, heavy person comes and tries to break that wall. It does not. He tries to hammer, no. Second person comes, third person comes, fourth person comes. And like that, the 50th person comes. And the 50th person, thin, lean person, he will just touch the wall and that whole wall will collapse. But imagine, there is an effort done by those 49 people. Sometimes even the big Maharathis or big book distributors also, some person, might not take from him because of his, ghor conditionings or very intense conditionings. But a thin, lean, neophyte devotee who just, you know, he's hitting the road for the first time. And, immediately, Krishna wants to inspire him. And that person buys the book from this person, neophyte devotee. But there is an effort of those 49 devotees. So whenever we are also doing book distribution or we are doing any other seva in that matter, or even if we are reading the book, these books have reached to us by somebody's, selfless, sleepless nights. Somebody has actually Prabhupada has spent those sleepless nights and he's written these books, and that's how these books have come to us. So much of gratitude we should have for Prabhupada or those devotees who are hitting the road. They are, under the scorching sun, they are hungry, they are striving to please Krishna, right? So these are those transcendental gifts that we can give to the people. One should inquire about the Krishna conscious movement and open his mind in order to understand the situation of this material world. Guhyam akheti pritchati, principles can be served. So see, when you inquire confidentially, that's called Guhyam akheti pritchati. When you inquire and whatever is in your mind, you can say to that other person, I'm facing this difficulty, I'm facing that difficulty. That is Guhyam. Then that person will give you, okay, you can do it this way. You can. Sometimes, devotees have this challenge of chanting early in the morning. And I always tell the girls, like I'm preaching to girls over here. So I always tell the girls, when you come in Krishna conscious, the very first year में ही आपने जो संस्कारास डाल दिए हैं ना, वही संस्कारास will last till the end. This is my personal experience. Like my Shiksha Guru was very particular about attending Mangala Aarti every day in the morning. And even for a day or two, if he won't come, of course, when we are not feeling well, he's pretty human that he will say, okay, you rest. But in case we were lazing around, he used to tell us the same thing. ये पहला साल जो है, आप जो कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में बिताओगे, जो संस्कार आप डालोगे, वही संस्कार आपको जिंदगी की आखिरी तक काम आएंगे. If you laze around in the beginning years of Krishna consciousness, you laze around the whole career of your Krishna consciousness. Till the end, you will laze around. And that is why I tell most of my girls कि Mangala Aarti is, compulsory. There is no compromise in Mangala Aarti. Even if you're staying away from the temple, we have online, japa that we do. Even if you're away from the temple, but coming for Mangala Aarti online is a must, because that is only helping you to sail across. And because see, these girls are very, very raw right now. They're very, komal. And their Chetana has not been very much drastically contaminated too much in the outside world. They're still protected, within the shelter of their parents. So whatever samskaras we will give them, they'll follow the same thing till the end. And they know that if I want love of Krishna, if I want to please Krishna, I will have to follow the instructions of my spiritual master. Otherwise, there is no other way, no other way, no other way. There's this time between 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock. ये बिल्कुल intact रखना है. Then throughout the day, whatever you do. Evening you come back and then you have Bhagavad Gita and even if you read a shloka or a page, at least we are following the instructions of our superiors and instruction of Śrīla Prabhupada, because Śrīla Prabhupada gave a sandwich program to us. Morning Mangala Aarti program till 9 and then evening Gaur Aarti and Bhagavad Gita class. This is a sandwich, and in between then all our material duties, Varnashram duties we are doing. See, even within Varna Ashram also, I was hearing actually His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu the other day. And what he was telling is that if we will not do our prescribed duties also properly, if we'll try to do somebody else's duties, like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if you try to do somebody else's duty, but that is not your swabhava. Like for example, okay, somebody is a doctor and by nature he is a doctor, okay, means uska inert nature jo hai वो डॉक्टर का है. और let's say varnashram example, if somebody is a brahmana, now he's born, of course he's not born, but his nature is actually of brahminical, giving knowledge and distributing knowledge and reading the shastras and all. Now if that person is given some seva which is against his nature, which does not fit into his nature, or he tries to pick up some seva which does not match with his brahmanical nature, then there'll be a disaster in his life. Like, I remember, I've always said this story, I'm sure, because that's the best example I can, give always. That there was this businessman and he had his own jeans ka factory. And he had 3 children. He has 3 children. Right now, so he has 3 children. And a wife. Wife is very simple from, Bihar. The man is also simple from Bihar. But what happened exactly is that instead of earning money, what happened that when a new temple came up in his own area, he actually, got carried away. He actually did not take care of his family. He did not take care of his children. Eventually lockdown came and his factory closed down, because see, when you as a proprietor or as an entrepreneur do not go to the factory, then the laborers, they don't work. When you're present, they know that okay, this master has come and we have to work. So he used to go to his factory by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Just 1 minute, okay? So then, where was I? Huh. So then this person actually shirked his duties. He was trying to, of course, become a devotee, but not slowly and gradually. See, when you are giving up also certain things, you don't abruptly give up things. There is a time. Vanaprastha ashram is meant for that slowly you try to give attachment. But when you're in the Grihastha ashram, you artificially trying to give up everything. The children, all 3 children, they're very small that time, just somebody was in 5th grade and the other was in 2nd and the last one was just, 4 or 3 years old that time. But when really peak time our children need us, we actually are sitting in the temple and, we are thinking in the name of service, I'm doing service to the Lord. No, being a grihastha is my first service. Taking care of my children is my first service. And those duties I should not. So these are my prescribed duties. And artificially, if I try to renounce, then what will happen? There will be a disturbance in the society. There will be a big disturbance in the society. And see, what is the signal going to the children also? Of course, the children, by the grace of God, are very good devotees. It's not that they're not devotees now. They all are chanting 16 rounds and all. But peak time when the children required them, they were not, the father was not present. Only the mother was present that way. So that is why our prescribed duties we should know, and slowly and steadily we should move forward towards, offering everything, mansa, karmana and vacha to the Supreme Lord. Okay. The members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness invite society members and supporters to dine with them when they hold love feast in all their branches every Sunday. Many interested people come to honor prasadam, and whenever possible, they invite members of the society to their homes and feed them sumptuously with prasad. In this way, both the members of the society and the general public are benefited. People should give up the company of so-called yogis, jnanis, karmis, and philanthropists because their association can benefit no one. If one really wants to attain the goal of human life, one should associate with devotees of the Krishna conscious movement because it is the only movement that teaches one how to develop love of God. Religion is the special function of human society and it constitutes the distinction between human society and animal society. Animal society has no church, mosque, or religious systems. In all parts of the world, however downtrodden human society may be, there is some system of religion. Even tribal aborigines in the jungles also have a system of religion. When a religious system develops and turns into love of God, it is successful. As stated in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Pumsa Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktira Dokshaje Ahetu Ki Apratihata Yayatma Suprasiditi. The supreme occupation for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be two things are there. One must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. So if I'm doing bhakti unmotivated, there's no motivation that okay, if I do bhakti, all my miseries will be vanished. If I do bhakti, all my karmas will be cut. If I do bhakti, I will get this and I will get that. No, there is no motivation. Unalloyed devotional service and uninterrupted, which means what? That consistently over the period of years I'm doing the same activity and still I don't get bored. Consistently I'm chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In fact, who was the other day telling that if somebody wants real happiness, the definition of real happiness is that it will keep on increasing day by day. Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam. It was Vamsivardhan Prabhu. I think Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam. He was saying that when somebody is doing consistently his sadhana, then he's experiencing Ananda. And that Ananda keeps on increasing, more and more on a daily basis. And that is why you see, there is a testimony that why people every day come to the temple and chant. Why people are, becoming brahmacharis in the temple. They have some higher taste, no? Because of that higher taste, they are able to, give up everything and come to the temple and stay in the temple and for a higher cause, they come and stay in the temple. Maybe initially they are coming for some other motive, but eventually, their motives also get purified, right? And by constantly doing this, morning program, everybody is purified. Nashta prayosho bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Whatever is abhadra, whatever is inauspiciousness in my life will completely vanished. And that is why we say uninterrupted. And Prabhupada has said his morning program is a no compromise program. We don't compromise on the morning program at all. Do die whatever you have, government offices, whether we are not feeling well, whether we are feeling well, we still do the morning program. I remember one time in Vrindavan, His Holiness Bhaktimat Swami Maharaj, who happens to be the spiritual master of one of two of my students. So he just invited us that we are going for a Govardhan Parikrama because the next day he had to leave for US. So some of his disciples and were there, and then he asked me also that if you want to join, you can join us. And I was very happy. Wow, with Maharaj, doing Govardhan Parikrama. So by the time it was 4 o'clock when we were doing Parik, because we started late at night. And by the time we were trying to do that parikrama, it was exactly 4 o'clock. And when it was 4 o'clock, Maharaj immediately started Mangala Aarti. Sansara Dava he started, and then from Narshing Aarti to Tulsi Aarti to Shishtastakam to 10 Namaprad to Guru Puja. And then he started quoting some shlokas from the Bhagavatam. He actually gave a whole morning program to us by doing parikrama, which means what I means for me, of course, I was able to understand whatever his, this was that how dedicated these Prabhupada disciples are, that wherever they are, and 4 o'clock means Mangala Aarti time. In Vrindavan, 4 o'clock means Mangala Aarti time, because 4 o'clock means, the doors of Prabhupada Samadhi open, and then, there is Mangala Aarti there. I was thinking that such a beautiful consciousness, the Prabhupada disciples have, that at 4 o'clock and immediately Mangala Aarti he started, and he did so the whole morning program. So he did not compromise. So then I asked Maharaj, I said, Maharaj, that Maharaj, you do this every day wherever you are. He said, wherever I am. I'm in the flight, I am on some walking, mission or whatever, because he's a walking monk, right? So wherever I'm walking through the jungle, through the road, wherever I am, and whatever time it is over there. For example, there is a distance of time between US and India. So whatever time I am there, over there, if it is 4 o'clock, I immediately start doing Mangala Aarti. I set my alarm clock accordingly that way only, so that Mangala Aarti, the morning program, is not compromised on. And if there are some devotees around me, then we open the Bhagavatam and start reading the Bhagavatam. And I was like so much, I was so much inspired that I said, wow. And, and then he was actually telling this also, that, devotional service should not be, there should be no motivation, and there should be no interruption in devotional service, which means only that ahetuki apratihata. And that is why only yayatma suprasiddhati. When it is unmotivated and when it is uninterrupted, then only it will satisfy us. See, when somebody does not chant, his 16 rounds, the prescribed rounds, then, that person is not satisfied from within. He does not get the satisfaction of whatever other activities that he is doing, because all those other activities are connected to the chanting. For example, if I have not chanted 16 rounds in a day, okay, I have missed chanting 16 rounds, and I am going to do DT worship. DT worship, when I am doing, it will not satisfy me at all. मेरा हृदय खाली का खाली ही रहेगा. Or if I'm trying to go and distribute books, that preaching will not be very effective. Or if I'm giving a lecture, that lecture will also not be transformative lecture. See, when somebody is giving a class, he's giving some information. But when he's giving information, because of his purity and the mercy of the acharyas, there is a transformation in the other side, those who are hearing, those who are the Shrota Ganas. But yahan pe, this person is not chanted and he's sitting on the Vyasasana and he's giving a class. So then there'll be no transformation. It will only be information. They'll just hear from this here and then it will go away. We want that I should also, and he will also not have any transformation, see, or purification. Because see, when anybody is preaching, what is the first thing happening is for my purification and Krishna's glorification. First, that person gets purified and then Krishna is glorified. Before he even starts speaking, he becomes purified. And then Krishna is glorified through these words, right? So that is why when somebody is not chanting, that we say 99.9% of my devotional life depends on chanting. So if I'm not chanting properly, then all the other activities that I'm doing, other services, or even if I'm going to office, I'm earning some money, that will also not be effective. That money also might come and go in some other form. That way. If the members of the human society want peace of mind and tranquility, friendly relationships between men and nations, they must follow the Krishna conscious system of religion by which they can develop their dormant love for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as people do so, their minds will immediately be filled with peace and tranquility. See now, completely satisfy means only what? The mind will be peaceful. In this regard, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Ṭhākura warns all devotees in broadcasting the Krishna conscious movement not to speak to the impersonal Mayavadis who are always determined to oppose such atheistic movements. Mayavadi bhashe shunile hoy sharvana. The world is full of Mayavadi and atheists, and the political parties of the world take advantage of Mayavad and other atheistic philosophies to promote materialism. Sometimes they even even back a strong party to oppose the Krishna conscious movement. The Mayavadis and other atheists do not want the Krishna conscious movement to develop because it educates people in God consciousness. Such is the policy of atheists. There is no benefit in feeding a snake milk and the bananas because the snake will never be satisfied. On the contrary, by taking milk and bananas, the snake simply becomes more poisonous. Kevalam Vishavardhanam. If a snake is given milk to drink, its poison simply increases. For a simple reason, we should not disclose our mind to the serpent or Mayavadis and Karmis. Such disclosures will never help. It is best to avoid association with them completely and never ask them about anything confidential because they cannot give good advice. Nor should we extend invitations to Mayavadis and atheists, nor accept the invitations, for by such intimate intermingling, we may become affected by the atheistic mentality. Sangat sanjayate kama. It is the negative injunction of this verse that we should refrain from giving anything to or accepting anything from the Mayavadis and the atheist. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu also warned, Vishayara ana khaile dushta hoya mana. By eating food prepared by worldly people, one's mind becomes wicked. Unless one is very advanced, he is unable to utilize everyone's contribution to further the Krishna conscious movement. Therefore, on principle, one should not accept charity from the Mayavadis or atheists. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has forbidden devotees to advocate even with ordinary men who are too addicted to material sense gratification. The conclusion is that we should always keep company with devotees, observe the regulative devotional principles, follow in the footsteps of the acharyas, and in full obedience carry out the orders of the spiritual master. So, see what is he saying? Always keep the company of the devotees, observe the regulative principles, follow in the footsteps of the acharyas, and full obedience to the orders of the spiritual master. These four things, Srila Prabhupada is asking us to do. In this way, we shall be able to develop our devotional service and dormant Krishna consciousness. The devotee who is neither a neophyte nor a Mahabhagavat, a greatly advanced devotee, but is within the middle status of devotional service, is expected to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Make friends, and that is Madhyamadikari he is talking about. Make friends with the devotees, show favor to the ignorant, and reject the jealous and demonic. In this verse, there is a brief mention of the process of making loving transactions with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and making friends with the devotees. According to the Dadhati principle, an advanced devotee is supposed to spend at least 50% of his income on the service of the Lord. And this and his devotees. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī has set an example in this in his life. When he decided to retire, he distributed 50% of his life's earnings to Krishna's service and 25% to his relatives and kept 25% for personal emergencies. This example should be followed by all devotees. Whatever one's income, 50% should be spent on behalf of Krishna and his devotees, and this will fulfill the demands of Dadhati. In the next work, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī informs us what kind of Vaishnava should be selected as a friend and how Vaishnavas should be served. So, I was thinking of completing the fourth and the fifth, but the fifth I felt that needs a lot of explanation. That most of the time our advancement also depends on the type of association we have. Many times, in innocence, we try to associate with those people who are not very serious about bhakti or who are not very this, and they still have some ulterior motives of being in Krishna consciousness. So what I'll do is we'll try to cover the fifth shloka and the sixth shloka next time on next Saturday. So if anybody has any questions, doubts, queries, you can please ask me. Okay, so if anybody does not have any doubt, we'll meet the next time.
Mataji, you said that Radharani distributes book in the spiritual world. So to whom she distributes?
Huh?
To whom she distributes?
No. She does not distribute. That is her
Or
favorite. That is her favorite. What you say, seva for Krishna, bringing devotees closer. See, when you distribute a book, that person will come closer to Krishna, no? Right? So she's not distributing. She's empowering the devotees to distribute. So
Okay,
that
okay,
seva
yeah.
is very dear to her. Yeah, I'll send that clip on the WhatsApp. You all will understand more better. It is better to understand from the in the mouth of His Grace Madhusundar Prabhu. Very wonderfully he explains actually that concept. And I was like, how did he connect it to Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī? It was so this. Then a little, Mananam I also did. And I also came to know that, okay, this is her favorite. And that is why it is favorite seva of Srila Prabhupada also. One of the favorite. See, many times Prabhupada has changed, that Prabhupada, what pleases you the most? So, if at that particular temple has a particular mood, he said deity worship is very close, or, best for me. I feel very close to this. And if there are the temple of book distribution, book distribution. So Prabhupada tried to please, all the devotees, not to demotivate them or, to discourage them. Or if some devotee, he knows that, for example, a pujari will ask Prabhupada, what is what is that seva which is close to your heart? Prabhupada knows that this person is inclined towards deity worship more. He say, okay, deity worship is, that's not to hurt his sentiments also, that way. Anybody else has any question, query, doubt? Okay. So if nobody has, then we'll stop for the day and we'll meet next Saturday. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Dhanavad.